What is that thing that will give you an edge that will make you a winner? What is that thing that will give you 10 times more results compared to an individual that is in the exact same place as you? I often hear two things related to this topic, and they are both important, but they are not the most important thing to focus on. One thing that I hear is these bold moves. People are looking for these moments and these actions that completely shift their whole existence, for these big breakthroughs. And yes, these actions are important to focus on. So these are, let's say, the home runs that you're swinging for, but this is not the most important thing to consistently focus on. Because if you only focus on the bold moves, that means you will stay stagnant, because the bold moves is not the main focus, it is supplementation to a strong foundation. So the second thing that I often hear is consistency. So this is hard work, like put in the hours, more hours than your competitors, and you will have an edge over your competitors. And of course, consistency is important. This is part of the foundation. If you can't be consistent, you won't achieve the results that you're after. But again, this is not the most important thing to focus on that will really give you an edge. If we, for example, look at racehorses, let's say one horse wins by a nose margin. That horse 100 times better than the other horses in the race when he wins by a nose margin. He's not, he's just a little bit better, maybe even 1% better. But he will create 100 times more results when you look at the prize money. So it's really in that 1% margin that will give him that crazy upside. So if I have, for example, two individuals, and let's create a personal example of my one-arm handstand that I'm training for. There's just a limited amount of time that I'm able to work out in a day. Like my body is just at the moment not capable of doing more. So is hard work really going to be the separator between me and an individual that is doing the exact same things as me, that is in the exact same places, working on the exact same goals? So let's say we are competing with each other. Let's say we both can only train 2 hours a day for 6 times a week because our body is not capable of doing more. What will give me an edge over my competitor in that moment? It's not the amount that I'm training, it's not the big bold moves that I'm trying, it is the precision in which I'm training with. It is that 1% margin that I'm consistently creating in every single training. That is the thing that you want to be looking for. That is that thing, that 1% improvement. I am focusing on the details. The reason why I'm, for example, improving right now so much with my handstand is because I hired a trainer. I hired a master in hand balancing that is working in the circus, and I've been working with him now for 6 months. So he's analyzing every single detail in my handstands. I'm learning things about my handstand that I didn't even know existed in the handstand. I'm creating an awareness in my body that I didn't even know was possible, and how I could move my body when I'm working on the one-arm handstand. So what will give me an edge over my, let's say, hypothetical competitor? It's the precision in which I'm training with. It's that awareness piece, that 1% improvement. I'm not just doing the reps over and over and over again. This is how I used to train. When I'm just doing the work, because that's how I'm creating an edge, right? That's how I become a winner or create 10 times more results by just doing the work. But it's what is the quality of work that you're doing? Because you just have a limited amount of time in the day. Just like all of your competitors. So hard work is not going to cut it. It's not just because you spend all of these hours just like your competitors that you're going to be better. How are you spending that work? Similar to content creation. If you are, again, with two individuals, if we make that comparison, if you are competing to an individual in the exact same place as you, you're having the same output when it comes to Instagram Reels or when it comes to YouTube videos. What is going to give you that edge over your competitor? You're putting in the same amount of work. It is the quality of work. Are you consistently learning and improving? Even the small little details, maybe when it comes to the hook, maybe when it comes to the sound design, maybe when it comes to the visuals, maybe when it comes to the scripting, the structure of the whole video. Maybe if you want to increase your sales, what if you consistently improve your sales pitch that is in your video? And you start to read all the books about it and start to integrate little things and see how is this affecting my progress. So it's in these little details that will give you that 1% margin and that nose win that will 10x or 100x your results. Because you don't need to be 100 times better than other people. You just need to be a little bit better, but that requires a lot of intentional improvement. And it's not just in mastering the details, you need to also be very aware of the feedback that you gather from the data that you receive, from the actions that you're taking. So that's why I'm, for example, with my handstand again, I'm recording every single set that I'm doing. So when I have my rest, I'm looking at my set on my video, and seeing what am I doing wrong, how is my shoulder position, what is happening with my elbow, what is happening, and I'm analyzing every single detail. And that's how I'm going to improve the next set. So are you, outside of optimizing these details and becoming 1% better, are you also receiving all the data of what is working and what is not working? Are you consistently improving based on the data that you've gathered? This is just as important as in just taking blind action. Because if you're consistent and you're making the bold moves and you're optimizing all the details, this is just blind hustle if you don't know what exactly you need to optimize for. If you don't have the data and the introspection scheduled. So these two elements are so important when you want to get that edge and create 10 times more results. The, of course, bold, consistent actions, optimizing every single detail based on the data that you've gathered. So what would that look like if you apply this to your goals? To your goals in your career, maybe in content creation, in your business, maybe even in your relationships. How would you apply this to your relationships? How do you apply this to your health and fitness? So this is, I believe, the real thing that will give you an edge. Like, I believe consistency is the basics, is the foundation that you need to master. Being able to spot the bold actions and swing for the home runs, it is part of the process, and that's the fun part of the process and the scary part of the process. That will give you so much results. But the thing that will really give you an edge is optimizing that 1%, is looking for the 1%, is maybe reading the book on sales, is reading the book on marketing strategies, or just focusing every single day on how could I optimize my hook, and trying out different things, gathering the data and improving from there. Instead of the individual that is just doing the work consistently, and yes, I'm putting in the hard work and I'm being consistent, but nothing is happening. Like, you want precision, you want quality. This is the thing that will give you an edge.